What's up, everybody? I am the Dude Without Fear. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. So if you follow me on Instagram, I recently posted some pictures of a collection that I bought from a dude off of Facebook Marketplace, which is where I find most of my stuff that I'm buying. I really hate it, honestly, because people want way more than what I should be paying for stuff, in all honesty. But at this point in time, I'm taking what I can get until people start bringing their collections to me. One of the guys that I actually sold to lives just a couple of towns over from me, and he had a bunch of comics that he's wanting to sell, and he came to me, and that was the first time that had ever happened, and I actually had to turn him down because I had just bought 2 collections. But if he still got them, I may go look at them in a couple weeks. But you know, that's what I need. I need people coming to me with their books, and until I get to that point where that happens more frequently, I have to find them where I can find them, and right now that's on the marketplace. But I bought this collection from this guy, and I say collection because going through it, I can sort of see how it's a collection, but then some of it seems like it was like purchased from like a store or something, like buying it out or something like that. So in some cases there's a lot of duplicates, and then in other cases there is a lot of stuff that would be like a collector. Like some collectors collect #1 issues, first issues, and there's a lot of #1 issues in there. So maybe it's a mixture of both, right? But I posted the picture and I asked everybody, do you want me to make a video about it? And you guys said yes, all 3 of you that responded or whatever. So here's the video. I've actually been shooting it in pieces. I actually just finished a sale featuring some of these books on Whatnot already. Just finished it a few hours ago. Very great sale, very successful sale. If you bought any of these books on that sale, I definitely appreciate it. It was a fun sale, fun hanging out with everybody. So here is me going through the first box, and then after we go through that box, I'll show you some books that were in that box that were pretty cool, that you may not have gotten to see while I'm digging through it real quick. So here we go, first box, boom. All right, let's go through box #1. First few are in these folder things. We got Stormwatch #1, Zero, Wildcats #1, 4, Youngblood #1, Cyberforce #1. I guess that's a reprint of New Avengers #1, Dark Avengers #3, 6. #2, is there a #1 in here? That'd be dope. All right, so we went through the first box. Not that great. Like not a lot of cool stuff. But there was some stuff that was all right. So let's look at the bangers that we got in that first box. This is just not necessarily stuff that's super valuable. Some stuff's just because it's cool, right? There's nothing really super valuable in there. This was the X-Men versus the Avengers #1. That's in there. So that's cool. It'd be cooler if all 4 issues were in there, but they're not. This is Pit #1, which used to be, you know, you would find this in dollar bins by the dozens. And now this is shot up to like a $10, $15 book because Dale Keown, the creator of Pit, is doing another Pit with, I think, through Ethan Van Sciver's publishing house. So that's pretty cool. This is beautiful. This is a Joe Jusko Virgin cover for Vampirella Sad Wings of Destiny, which looks like it's like an anthology book. But just look at that Jusko cover, man. That is amazing. Super awesome. I don't know any values on that. I didn't look it up yet or anything. I thought this is cool. This is Aliens, Earth Angel, and it's written and drawn by John Byrne. I had no idea John Byrne ever worked on Aliens. That's cool. I'm going to read this. This will probably stay in my personal collection. It is Terminator #1 from when Terminator moved over to Dark Horse Comics. I've actually been wanting this book. Not a very valuable book whatsoever. Probably like a $4 or $5 book. But I don't have to pay $4 or $5 because I just snagged it out of that collection. This is Elektra #1, the first time she got her own ongoing series. Very cool Mike Deodato Jr. cover. This is from 1996. I have this in my PC. I have like the first 3 or 4 issues of it. The only thing I didn't like about it is they kind of rewrite her origin a little bit. And I don't like that because Frank Miller's origin for her is awesome enough as it is. You don't need to mess with it. I was super stoked to see Daredevil #1 from Volume 2 in that box. This is a very awesome book. I love it so much. It was one of the gems in my personal collection when I was just starting out, and I was just like, oh, I can't believe I have this book. You know, it's nothing super expensive or anything, but it's a very cool book. I wish this one was in a higher grade. It's about a fine, very fine condition. Definitely wish it was in near mint, but I am very glad that was in there because it's a cool book and people want it, and it's not easy to find. This is another cool book. I wanted to keep this for my PC, but I decided to sell it because I can't keep everything, right? But I will get this one day. This is Elektra #1, back in Brian Michael Bendis' heyday when he was actually a good writer. And this is a Greg Horn cover, and it's just a beautiful book, man. Super cool. And it's like a mature book, man. It's violent. It actually warns you, violence content, children. But yeah, it's super beautiful book. This one is staying in the PC. I've wanted it for a while, and now I have one. It is Ultimate Elektra #1. Elektra looks kind of weird on that cover, but Daredevil looks cool. And it was the right price. Ultimate Daredevil and Elektra #1. Wanted this one too. Keeping this too. Very minty too. Very good condition. So I was super stoked to see this in there. It's a cool Daredevil miniseries, one of the first miniseries that I bought, done by Joe Quesada. It's Daredevil Father. They had issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, yeah, issue 4, and issue 5. This is a very cool cover. but no issue 6, unfortunately. So close to completing the whole miniseries. There was not a complete miniseries in this thing. I wish it was, because it's kind of hard to sell a miniseries, you know, when you're missing a part. But, hey man, there were 2 number 1s in there instead of a number 6. I got an extra number 1. We got Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, number 2. This is the origin of Daredevil as retold by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. One of my favorite miniseries ever. If you're a Daredevil fan, you need to read that story. Issue 3. Got some foil action on these. And issue 5. Again, not a complete miniseries. This is just something that I thought was cool. Sounds dumb. Way of the Rat. I was just like, ugh, no one's going to want that. But Chuck Dixon wrote it, so I'm going to read it, see what it's like. If Chuck Dixon wrote it, it's probably pretty good. It's probably got some interesting stuff in it. Super stoked to see Wolverine number 1 in there from volume 3. This was the first, this was another number 1. This was another series that I started from the beginning when I was collecting. I was just starting out, you know. And I just love this era of Marvel. It's a good era, and this is written by Mark Miller, and that's a good run on Wolverine. Wolverine Origins number 1. It's the director's cut, but the director's cut's pretty cool because it's got some that looks more like sketch as opposed to full color like the actual number 1. But very cool to see this book. It's a good book, good series. Very surprised to see Daken, Dark Wolverine number 1 in there. Not a book you come across too often. Daken used to be a really awesome character. Now it's like they just don't know what to do with him. I'm missing issue 1, the most important issue of the miniseries. And this was coming from a box full of number 1s, but this number 1 was not in there. Probably because it demands a little bit of money. But it's Origin. The origin of Wolverine. Which, you know, super hot series for years. It's probably cooled off quite a bit these days. No one seems to care about Wolverine as much as they used to for whatever reason. I guess just new generation of comic readers or whatever. But anyway, Origin number 2, very awesome cover by Joe Quesada. Number 3, 4, 5, another beautiful cover. That's very cool. That reflection cover is cool. And 6. This is Logan, Path of the Warlord. Never heard of this before. It's a square bound book, one shot. Art by John Paul Leon, which is pretty cool. He just passed away just a few months ago. And I'm not super familiar with his work, so definitely I'm keeping this because people don't seem to care about stuff like this as much as I do in the selling market. So I'm probably going to keep this, read it, and if it's awesome, I'll hang on to it. If it's not, I'll sell it. Keeping this because I needed this issue. Wolverine, Gambit, Victims, issue 4. You know how many times I've found issue 1, 2, and 3? 100. You know how many times I found issue 4? 1 time. This time. This is my book. Now I can finally read that miniseries. And this is probably the most valuable book that was in there that I'm aware of. I haven't priced everything out, but I would think this is probably the most valuable book that's in there. It's Usagi Yojimbo number 3, which is pretty cool. It's from Fantagraphic Comics, right? Yep, Fantagraphic Books. But the 3rd issue of Usagi Yojimbo. That's pretty dope. He's getting his own Netflix cartoon. That's cool. And then these were just a little added bonus. These were some Wizard issues. This is actually a Wizard X-Men special. And I love their special issues. So I'm going to hang on to this. And it actually has an ad for that Elektra series on the back. Very cool. But this is all about X-Men. And I love their Batman Wizard special. And their Justice League Wizard special, and their Superman Wizard special. I've never looked at this one, so I'm looking forward to going through it. It's got an Alex Ross poster inside if I wanted to take it out, which I probably will not, but still cool. And then, you know, I just love Wizard, man. I miss Wizard comics, Wizard magazines. They were such a big part of me collecting as a kid. But here's this one. Homer as the Hulk, fighting Stan Lee. It's number 128. And then this is Wizard 130 during the new X-Men era of comics. This one's a cool cover. Wizard 126, you got Snake Eyes fighting Wolverine. Smallville, will Batman guest star? No, he will not. He won't. Don't waste your time. And then Wizard number 140, X-Men 2 movie issue. Very cool stuff. Alright, so that's box 1. Let's go take a look through box 2, see what goodies are in there, and then we'll meet back here and go through what's in box 2. Alright, this is box number 2. Some 90s number 1s. Alright, so box 2, nothing incredible, right? Nothing that's gonna make me rich or nothing. Still some good stuff. So, got the 2 Onslaught issues that you can just read these. You don't have to read everything. You can just read these, and this is like the battle against Marvel versus Onslaught. Another complete. We got a complete mini-series in this one, and that is the Age of Apocalypse 10th anniversary mini-series. So that's good. Like I said, a lot easier to sell a whole mini-series than just a piece of one. Although I might not have trouble selling this one. Annihilation Silver Surfer number 1. Amazing Gabriel Dell'Otto cover on it. Beautiful cover. Only had the first issue of this too, Silver Surfer Requiem, one of my favorite Silver Surfer stories, the first Silver Surfer story I ever read, and it's the death of the Silver Surfer. Super cool book. This is kind of a minor key. It's the first appearance of Legacy, which is Captain Marvel, before Miss Marvel, his son. So that's nothing huge, but a minor key. Fantastic Four Volume 2, number 1. Very cool Jim Lee cover. Fantastic Four 358. This is another minor key. It's a spec book. The villain in here is like a Skrull captain. He is supposedly a villain in an upcoming in the Secret Wars show. That's just purely spec. Fantastic Four versus the X-Men issue 1. This one's actually going to replace my copy because this is like in near mint minus condition, and mine's like in very fine condition, so I'm going to just swap these out. I love that cover. Captain America Volume 2 Number 1. Rob Liefeld cover. Very cool book. This is probably my favorite Captain America cover ever. That's a tough call, right? Like your favorite cover ever of a character. But I think this is Captain America Volume 4, Issue 1. Just love that John Cassidy cover. That's very, very World War II, very patriotic, very U.S. soldier. Like that's an amazing cover. Another amazing cover. Nothing really special about the book other than, you know, it's early X-Men Volume 2 and or the non-uncanny. But it's issue 9 with Wolverine fighting Ghost Rider, another Jim Lee cover. Really amazing cover. Just very cool book. And then this is X-Force number 1, still polybagged. This has the Cable card in the back, so very cool. And then these are super dope. So this is G.I. Joe number 1 when Image Comics took it. I actually didn't know that Image Comics, I know that Image is supposedly getting it again. That's the rumor. But I didn't know they had it the first time. So this is pretty cool. This is a J. Scott Campbell cover, but the back of it, they each have these awesome covers, these awesome portraits on the back, and that is dope. Not a huge G.I. Joe fan, but I like G.I. Joe comics. Number 2, also a J. Scott Campbell cover. And then portrait on the back, Destro. Pretty dope. I don't know who did these covers on the back. Issue 3. So we got a little run, just the first 3 issues. On the back we got Scarlet. Patriotic. And then this cover is cool, front and back. You got Storm Shadow and Cobra Commander in issue 6. This is a Mike Zeck cover, which is very cool. And the back of this one is Storm Shadow. Pretty dope. Pretty dope indeed. And then another number 1 from a mini series is in fantastic condition, looks brand new, is issue 1 of Snake Eyes Declassified. So hopefully I'll be making some G.I. Joe fan very happy selling those. Alright, let's go look at box number 3 and finish this puppy up. Alright, box number 3. Again, nothing mind-blowing in box number 3. So luckily, you know, I don't think that I'll have trouble selling the majority of it. So that's good. I bought it to sell it. So let's take a look at what I thought was cool in box 3. I wish that I had issues 1 and 4 in there, but Marvel versus DC issue 2, very cool. And these go for around $10 a pop, so that's good. And issue 3, I was super stoked to see this because I need issue 3 and 4. Now I only need one more issue, just issue 4 to complete having that mini-series again. But very cool. I love this comic, Power Shazam. I mean, it's displayed right here as well on my cabinet. Power Shazam #1. Such an amazing cover, such a cool series. It's a newsstand copy too. If it was in better condition, I would. I was hoping it was in, you know, it was a 9.8 candidate, because I'd send this to get graded, because I want one of those graded. But it's probably about a 9.0. This, however, is probably a 9.8. This is the Ultimates #1. And the Ultimates 2 #1. I had no idea this existed. Strange #1 by J. Michael Straczynski. This is like the origin of Doctor Strange, from what I gather. This is kind of a cool book. It is Black Panther #18. It is the issue where Storm and Black Panther get married. And that's pretty cool. It's during Civil War, and it's ceasefire so they can get married. You can see Cap and Tony down here eyeballing each other. Being like, you're gonna do something stupid. This is Squadron Supreme #1. It's part of a mini-series, limited series, but it's the first time they got their own solo title, so kind of cool if you're into Squadron Supreme. This is Ghost Rider #1. I'm not sure which volume. I'll put it here though. This is by Garth Ennis and Clayton Crane. Pretty cool. Ghost Rider tends to sell pretty well. Here's another volume. I think this is the volume before that. #1. And then this is Mythos Ghost Rider. These were one-shots, and I'm pretty sure they just like retold the origins of characters. And I didn't know they made a Ghost Rider one, so that's cool. This is a pretty cool cover. This is Thor #1 from J. Michael Straczynski's run. This is a zombie variant. Pretty gnarly looking. And then Batman Superman #1. There's 2 covers of this. I'm pretty sure there's a Batman focus and a Superman focused one. This is the Batman focused one. This is very cool. Superman #1 from John Byrne's run on it after Crisis on Infinite Earths, when they rebooted the DC universe. Very cool book. Another very cool book. I wish they had all 4 issues of it. It's Legends of the Dark Knight #65, the first part of Going Insane. Pretty cool little Joker story. And then I wish they had all 12 issues of this, but this is Justice #1 by Alex Ross and Jim Kruger. Yeah. But this is the villain cover. And then they also had in there issue 2. I really like that cover too. Cool Riddler cover. And then they had this cover for issue 1. I've never seen it before. It is the 3rd printing of Justice, issue 1. I'm going to hang on to this because I wasn't aware it existed. And 3rd printings can be kind of rare. So I'm just going to hang on to that until Key Collector tells everybody that that's a key, and then I'll have it, and then I can sell it, right? Because that's what Key Collector does. And then this is used to be, you know, like Pitt. It was a a #1 from the 90s that a lot of people just like. They liked it back in the 90s, but have kind of forgotten about. But this has been optioned to be a movie, and it's going to be starring one of my favorite actors, Jake Gyllenhaal. But it is Prophet #1, and this sucker is crisp. It looks like it just came off of the press. It is super crisp. I might get this one. Graded. It's pretty good shape, but I probably won't, just because it takes forever, but we'll see. So there you go. There's the 3 boxes that I bought, the cool books that I pulled out of them. If I missed anything that you saw going through, let me know in the comments below. If you saw something you thought was cool, let me know. Let me know what your favorite book was that I'd picked out that you saw in that collection. And if you're interested in any of those, go follow me on Whatnot, because that's where they will be sold. I appreciate everybody watching. As always, be excellent to each other and take it easy.